Hi, I'm Karim. This is for realcombatmedia.com, and I'm going to do a little bit of a sort of a breakdown of this AJ versus Eric Molina fight we've got coming up on the 10th of December in Manchester, my hometown. Now, firstly, obviously people are disappointed. We wanted to see AJ in with someone like Klitschko. However, it's happened. So let's talk about this. We've got Eric Molina, the teacher from Texas. The guy has had 28 bouts, 25 wins, 3 losses, and no draws. Now, it's not like he's coming off of some losses from way back. Like I did one of these videos about Klitschko, and Klitschko had actually lost way back. He lost in 2012 to Chris Arreola, and in 2013 to Deontay Wilder. So it's not like he's sort of been undefeated for a long period of time. And let's just have a little think about this. You know, he's been knocked out 3 times. He's not just been stopped or lost on points. He's been knocked out the 3 times he's stepped up in level. It's still heavyweight boxing, and with 10-ounce gloves on, anyone is dangerous. But we're gonna get into the nitty-gritty about this. I've been scrolling down his sort of archives looking for his most notable wins. I've been researching the guy, and when it comes to notable wins, we're very thin on the ground. A lot of people have said to me, yeah, but look what he did against Adamek recently. Yeah, but Adamek is a blown-up cruiserweight who's been, you know, struggling at weight for years, so he's blown himself up to heavyweight. He's really a cruiserweight. Not to mention it's an Adamek that was on the decline, and not to mention Adamek was actually boxing him quite handily until he landed a good right-hand shot in the 10th round, and a lot of it was fatigue. The way he went down, the way he sort of, you can tell when a fighter is fatigued by the way they respond to a shot. And in the Adamek fight, it looked like there was many factors that ended the fight, and one of them was fatigue. That's not taking anything away from Eric Molina. He was losing, and he showed some championship quality to actually land that winning shot. And he's a likable guy. Look, he's a likable guy. He's a very nice, sort of person. But we've got to take that out of the equation. I mean, other notable wins. I mean, come on, Zimbardo Love, Theo Kruger, Clinton Bonds. Come on, get real. In terms of notable wins against high caliber opposition, we're going to be very pressed here with Eric Molina. Let's have a little talk about his fight with Deontay Wilder. A lot of people have also said to me, well, look, he went 9 rounds with Deontay Wilder, he put it on Deontay Wilder, and he actually hurt him, and he wobbled him, and correct, he did. He actually did step into the pocket against Wilder, which I liked. You know, he showed he was brave, he showed he was tough. He did fire combinations. A lot of people are scared to throw combinations, let the shots go against Deontay Wilder. They like to sort of single shots because they're wary of what's coming back. He actually unloaded combinations, and it was good to see, and it was nice to see Deontay under a bit of pressure. But in real terms, every time Deontay landed flush or touched him on the chin, basically, he was in trouble. Every time he was in trouble. Also, you've got to bear in mind that Deontay Wilder didn't look great in that fight himself. It was a combination of Deontay Wilder not performing and Eric Molina rising to the challenge, even though still he did get stopped in the 9th round, and he was, I never really felt like he was going to win that fight. I mean, yeah, it was great to see Deontay pressured a little bit, but Eric Molina was never going to win that fight. In terms of a notable loss, the one I like to just sort of touch on is the loss to Chris Arreola. Now, this was a kind of a crossroads fight for both fighters. Arreola was out of shape for the fight. Okay, Arreola, listen, I love Arreola. He's a great personality at boxing, but he was out of shape for the fight. He is dangerous, Arreola, because he does have a fast right hand and he can set up his punch as well. But the way Molina crumbled was spectacular. And the right hand shot that finished the fight, Molina was against the ropes, his eyes looked clear, and he just kind of slumped down slowly. He basically couldn't be bothered to get up. He didn't want to find that inner championship part. And I'm not hating on the guy at all. I do not hate on fighters. I respect every single fighter. But that, for me, was quite defining. It showed me that he is, you know, he talks about being a tough guy and everything, but is he really? He slumped to the floor like somebody. It was bad acting, basically. It was reminiscent of the sort of bad acting I saw against Zab Judah when Amir Khan hit him with the body shot. It was reminiscent to the bad acting I saw from Charles Martin when Charles Martin pretended he didn't realise the referee was counting loudly and slowly to 10 in front of his face. Got up and looked all confused. Are you stupid? He just counted to 10 in front of your face. You can't pretend you didn't see it. Now, I like Eric Molina, but this isn't about whether I like Eric Molina. This is about whether he has a chance against a guy, Anthony Joshua, who is 17-17, all by the way of knockout. A lot of people do hate on Anthony Joshua because they say he hasn't fought anybody, he hasn't proved himself at a high caliber level. But if you look at both of the records, Eric Molina and Anthony Joshua, there's not really much comparison. Anthony Joshua in the last 6 has fought better opposition. Dillian White is he's a decent fighter. Dominic Breazeale was undefeated. Charles Martin was the champ. You know, you've got to give him a little bit of props. Until he puts a foot wrong, you can't say the ifs, buts and the maybes. You've got to just see how his career pans out. So far, he's done everything right. And I think people need to get off this whole Dillian White nearly stopped him rubbish. This silly malarkey. He didn't nearly stop him. He caught him with a good left hook, a counter shot. He caught the shot, bang, and threw the left hook, and it was a great shot. But AJ responded well. He didn't capitulate like I've seen Molina do. He tucked up. He just moved a little bit. He got him back on range. He got him on the jab, put the right hand through. He recovered. He composed himself, and it was actually quite a professional way to deal with being hurt, which I don't see the same thing from Molina. Now look, we obviously wanted to see AJ in with someone like Klitschko, but realistically they weren't going to put Klitschko AJ in Manchester Arena, which holds 20,000 when it could do 80,000 at Wembley. Other names that were mentioned and voted around were David Price. Now listen, I love Pricey. I know his trainer Dave Coldwell. Done an interview with him on my YouTube channel, but that would have gone quite short rounds. So the thinking behind this is Eric Molina is going to give Anthony Joshua a few rounds, or that's what I'm hearing anyway. Anthony Joshua's got some good Olympic pedigree. He won the gold medal. I know there was some contentious decisions there in the semi-finals and final, but he won the Olympic gold. He's got a good caliber of sort of amateur pedigree. And Molina is dangerous, but he's clumsy. And Anthony Joshua is not clumsy. He's a very compact fighter. He's very measured and he's very balanced. So I actually don't think Molina is going to pose too much of a threat unless he throws some serious bombs from round 1 onwards. I actually think Anthony Joshua is going to negate Eric Molina quite easily, because Molina, I mean, Deontay Wilder's a great power puncher, but he sometimes looks clumsy. His footwork's a bit clumsy. He sometimes stands square on. Sometimes his feet come together. And he's easier to land shots on than someone like Anthony Joshua, who's very traditional with his high guard, low chin movements. Anthony Joshua is also a thinking fighter. People forget, he's a thinking fighter, Anthony Joshua. He doesn't just go crazy. He's very educated. The way he throws his shots, he likes to set things up. He's a bit like an aggressive version of like a Vladimir Klitschko, who's got that beautiful balanced right hand, lovely long jab. He steps to the side, counter right hand. To be honest, he's not been in with the top heavyweights, but for me, he's actually been quite impressive. He's very dynamic. I know a lot of the guys that help out with his camp, and he trains a lot of explosive maneuvers. A lot of stuff which really heightens that explosive punch power that the heavyweights need. And Eric Molina, does have a chance. Every heavyweight has a chance. But Eric Molina is not a one-punch knockout artist, which you kind of need to be if you're going to destroy Anthony Joshua, someone like him, in an upset win. He's no Oliver McCall against Lennox Lewis. He's no Hassan Rahman against Lennox Lewis. Don't forget Oliver McCall as well. I put Mike Tyson down in sparring as well, heavily and badly. But he's not got that power, Eric Molina. He just hasn't. And every time he's got a guy hurt, he had Ariola hurt, he had Deontay Wilder hurt. He doesn't have that inner depth to actually put him away. He hasn't had it. Now, I wasn't going to touch on this, but Anthony, there's been some rumours recently that Anthony, and I'm not going to say where I've got them from, all that stuff. I'm sure it's out there now anyway. But Anthony Joshua was dropped heavily in sparring against an amateur fighter. Now, I've only just found this out from hearsay and stuff like that and whatnot. But the point being, if that's true, I can see why the team at Matchroom and Eddie Hearn may have wanted to keep David Price out of the ring and bring in Eric Molina, who's not got that sort of dynamite in his fists. Look, basically, Anthony Joshua, I believe, is going to school Molina. In terms of boxing, I think he's going to be able to keep Molina on the end of his jab within his own punching range. He's got the height advantage. He's got the punch power advantage. He's actually got the speed advantage. For a heavyweight, he throws very, very fast combinations, Anthony Joshua. He's got the technique. Molina does have some attribute. Of course he does. Of course he does. You know, he's quite a sneaky puncher, actually. He sets up shots pretty well. You think he's sort of switching off and bang, he'll hit you. And when he does sort of press, he can look quite impressive, Eric Molina. And like I said, I'm not hating on him. I just think, look, personally, I feel like it's not even close, this fight. If it had been AJ versus Klitschko, I've done a video on that actually as well. That's obviously a much more closer fight. And even with David Price, there's more things to contend with because David Price has got go-to-sleep power. But this fight, I just don't see it being that competitive. I think it'd be Molina's not getting into the second round. The second half of the fight. But maybe that's subconscious there. Maybe I think it's going to be a second round win for Anthony Joshua. It wouldn't surprise me. I think it's pretty straightforward, guys. I'm not hating on Eric Molina, but I think Eric Molina goes to sleep inside 6 rounds. But I'm really happy that the teacher from Texas has got an opportunity for a big payday, and I hope the Manchester crowd gives him a fair reception when he comes over here. That's me. It's Aki Karim for RealCombatMedia.com. Power.